Imagine for a moment that your Fourth Amendment rights are taken away. You are left with limited abilities to consent your will, and authority figures at any time can search your person, seize what they find, and use it against you in the court of law. You are at the mercy of the authority, who now has every right to violate your space. Unfortunately, this is a reality that young individuals face every day when they go to school, a reality which was validated by the case of New Jersey versus T.L.O. You may be thinking that this isn't any concern of yours, that you have nothing to fear if you haven't done anything wrong. However, this modification to the Fourth Amendment states that all it takes for the legal search and seizure of a student's property is the vague assumption of reasonable suspicion. What reasonable suspicion exactly means is subject to the interpretation of the authority figure. So suppose that you talk too much during class, or that possibly your teacher just doesn't like you. According to the legal clause set by New Jersey versus T.L.O., teachers now have the right to search your bag, your pockets, and even your phone. Today, I will explain to you why the verdict in the case of New Jersey versus T.L.O. was a terrible decision that should be abolished immediately. According to the ruling of New Jersey versus T.L.O., students aren't worthy of the basic rights that the United States Constitution provides. Furthermore, outcomes of this decision support my previously stated conclusion regarding unfair profiling. According to a 2008 study called Investigating Fourth Amendment Judicial Outcomes, researchers found that students in high minority settings are more likely to be the subjects of aggressive searches and, in turn, receive less sympathy in court. This study proves that reasonable suspicion gives racist teachers an outlet to cripple the success of their students of color, perpetuating the cycle of racism and poverty. Therefore, allowing schools the right to search a student based on reasonable suspicion only leads to outright discrimination and the enforcement of inappropriate power dynamics. Since the 1985 ruling has served to create such a discriminatory and unfair school environment, the case's ruling should be reevaluated immediately. Schools should seek to develop trustworthy relationships between teachers and students, instead of creating an environment in which teachers are in a position to potentially ruin students' lives. This type of unhealthy dynamic will only damage the students' futures, which is completely contrary to the purpose of an education. Taking steps towards creating a trustworthy relationship between teachers and students will demonstrate healthy camaraderie and leave a lasting impression on students, who will internalize these healthy relationships and project such fairness to the outside world. However, some may argue that the case of New Jersey versus T.L.O. has made a positive impact. They may argue that a student who has nothing to hide shouldn't be afraid at all, or that this ruling has done nothing but separate the delinquents from the real students. However, this conclusion is totally false, since private technology, such as cell phones, now fall under the umbrella of possessions privy to search and seizure. To demonstrate how violating this is, I'd like to share a brief story. In the year 2011, a student suspected of cyberbullying was called to the principal's office, who took it upon himself to search the boy's phone. Although the principal didn't find any evidence of bullying, he did look through the boy's entire trove of personal messages, where he learned information that he was unentitled to, such as the boy's family's financial problems. Phones store endless types of data, which according to the case of New Jersey versus T.L.O. can be held against you in the court of law. Searching such a personal device is an unfair and dangerous abuse of power, which provides the authority figure with information that he or she had no right to obtain without a warrant. I'd like you for a second to imagine a world without this ruling, and in turn, an era of mutual trust between students and teachers. In a world without New Jersey versus T.L.O., schools can immediately begin working towards powerful, positive relationship building between teachers and every student. Building such relationship eliminates the need for secrecy altogether. If the precedent set by the case continues in the foreseeable future, It will only serve to harm relationships between students and their school, especially as technology becomes more intertwined with the students' lives. Schools should treat their students like the adults they're going to become. And in order to accomplish this, schools must abide by the Fourth Amendment and eliminate the allowance of unlawful searches and seizures of students' private property. It's of the utmost importance that we understand that nobody should have the right to violate another individual's space and property without a warrant, no matter what age they are, and that it's even more responsible to discourage the reduced quality of life brought on by expulsions due to unlawful search and seizures conducted by schools, which have been shown to disproportionately target minority students. So I encourage you, for the sake of students everywhere, whose privacy and futures are at stake every day, to reject the case of New Jersey versus T.L.O. This case is a complete mockery of the law, and it sets a dangerous precedent which will undoubtedly cause more harm to the future generation. Thank you.